Yeah. But again, we learned about our talents and our successes, and a lot of people look forward to that particular type of presentation. We also created, thanks to a couple of ladies, a unique season finale called the Teddy Bear Sleepover, to bring young people up, the children, because we realized we didn't have that part of the community coming up there for the other presentations. And here we have a little girl who's just put her favorite stuffed animal down for the night. And this is in the big bedroom, in the master bedroom. Here's all kinds of people. And just like years ago in the old hotels where you had a room for Billy, or a south bedroom for Billy Thomas's room, there's a big panda taking up the whole bed. I don't know which animal he brought in. The house, the volunteers got into it. Here's Terry in her night jacket and nightgown, and Chris has got curlers and a nightcap and a big nightgown on. Up on the second floor, when you get up to the bedrooms, there were a couple of young men up there in nightshirts or long johns, and they were greeting everybody, and some of them had stuffed animals. Really played it up, and it was nice. The kids brought their teddy bears up on Saturday night, got to pick out a bed, and then on Sunday when they picked them up, all the teddies were downstairs in the front parlors waiting for them. Yes?
It wasn't just the kids that brought them, grandmas and grandpas, like we did, brought them in.
Yeah, there's a picture.
The kids after a while with the placard that said this bear slept at the Octagon House.
Yeah. So, and we'll probably try that again in a few years' time. It was well received. Now, in looking at these pictures for tonight, and from the Teddy Bear Sleepover, Bill and I often kind of chuckle to each other. We wonder who's going to do some of this when we're old. And you do have to keep an eye out to the future. Yeah. When we're older. And I figured this is Bill and Randy of the next generation, because everybody else came to visit. Those two little boys are just totally at home in the Octagon House. And I've decided this must be the little Randy because he's eating. And I've always said...
So you're implying that I'm a tippler then, is that?
Well, you'll notice my glass is on the floor, so... But I've always said that...
But I don't need to have you pointed out there.
I've always said that between my love of eating and my love of visiting with people, my jaws will wiggle for 3 days after I'm gone. So anyway, that's little Bill and Randy of the future, I've decided. And we had other social callers over the last couple years as well. This is Bill, as only Bill can greet, you know, welcoming everybody to the front door for Business After Hours. That's from 5 years ago, and we did it again this past fall. Various businesses from the chamber membership came up for an afternoon or a late afternoon of social gathering. This lady was a photojournalist who did a wonderful portfolio of pictures of the Octagon House, sold them to a Victorian magazine, and ended up getting an article, a beautiful photo spread in a national magazine. We got visitors based on that, and we hosted a little open house for her on a sunny day. We also decided, after looking at the rest of the season, that we were missing something for spring. So in spring, Bill graciously adapted Alice in Wonderland, and we do this, I think we've done it twice.
You know that they didn't have to wear costumes for that. They really looked that way.
Yeah. So here's Alice in the living room or front parlor. Here's
They should just shade for that performance.
the Mad Tea Party, and of course the Queen of Hearts. This was a guide's picture from a couple of years ago, and I had never really studied it as much before, but I loved the pose of the two Smith sisters, very Victorian with the way their arms are held. Bill with the hands on the shoulders of Brandon, and Charlotte, the way she's posed on the staircase.
I can tell you why Charlotte is posing. Don't you know why?
I don't remember.
She didn't have any shoes on.
Oh!
Well, whatever it was, but it was totally inappropriate.
Well, it did. It's a nice pose of the staff. Leo, of course, is too ill now to guide with us. They're both in college. She's teaching and doing some other studying. He's done with college and out on his own. It's amazing what a few years can do. But many, many good memories. But of course, before you can open the house in spring and guide, you have to do something else. And in Saturday's paper, it encouraged everybody to come up and find out what these four ladies had in common with Eliza Richards. Well, they were born to dust. And now, I think, aren't all of you here tonight? I think you should stand so we can identify you. Stand up. There. John Jenswald has handbell practice in church, or he'd be here tonight. John helps the ladies clean.
Very good help.
Yeah. Who else helps? Linda Worth is sitting in the, she took this picture, so Linda helps clean. Who else helps you?
Mrs. Bowl did for a while.
Yeah. Well, and they clean and scrub their way down, and they do the perimeter buildings, the barn, and the kindergarten. And of course, when you're cleaning in April in unheated buildings, you're at the will of Mother Nature. So when it gets to be 70, you drop everything and you go out to the outside buildings where it's warm. And then as soon as the weather changes back, you finish inside. And Betty Hebner here does a wonderful job of blackening the stoves. One of those jobs that you couldn't pay a lot of people to do anymore. In fact, most people wouldn't even know. And here's my mother with her trusty wallpaper broom, as opposed to all her other brooms in her collection. But Anna, in her diaries, now this is Anna as a very old lady. She's well into her 80s. And in her diaries, she's in her 60s and maybe even close to 70. She's calcimining a room on the 3rd floor. You know, she's taken carpets out to the lawn, or to the line with her son, and they're beating the carpets. And you know, they did not need aerobic exercises, and, you know, let's face it, they didn't need a health care plan either. They either died from the work or they lived forever because of the good exercise. But that's getting the house ready. I want to close by leaving you with one of my favorite Christmas poems, written by the most prolific of all writers, Anonymous. So remember, while December brings the only Christmas day, in our hearts let it be Christmas by the things we do or say. Wouldn't life be worth the living, and wouldn't dreams be coming true if we kept the Christmas spirit all the whole year through? And of course, the final picture is a Christmas picture from inside the Octagon House. On behalf of the Board of Directors and the staff and volunteers, I want to wish all of you a blessed Christmas and a Happy New Year. And you can rest assured that when the house reopens in spring, no matter what the occasion, when the guests leave, it will be said that a good time was had by all.
Thank you, Mr. Roessler.
You're welcome. I have one other poem I had to share with you. I found this in some notes at the office. It is. Let It Snow, it's entitled. I made myself a snowball as perfect as could be. I thought I'd keep it as a pet and let it sleep with me. I made it some pajamas and a pillow for its head, but then last night it ran away, and first it wet the bed. What? But first it wet the bed. Oh, here's John. Here's our other housekeeper, house cleaner. They were just laughing at the picture of the ladies who were born to dust.
Yeah.
So, but John wasn't on that picture. I don't know where he was that day. But,
We've had a lot of strange things happen up at the house during cleaning and preparations of things. For example, Mr. Roessler, care to tell that story about how you, I, and Chris Hines scared the living daylights out of stray visitors one night?
did we tell them that in spring?
Did we?
I
Maybe
don't
we
know.
did.
Well,
Or perhaps we did.
Well, that's okay. There are people here who weren't here in spring. Oh, I suppose you want this still on?
I want to hear that story.
Okay.
Now that you mention it, I think we did tell that story.
Well, I know Rochelle wasn't here in spring, so I'll tell it. After one of the ice cream socials, we were still in costume, and we were up in the house. I don't remember what we were packing away, but it was getting late. The dusk was coming on, gray shadows, and we saw a car pull up in front of the house, and they were kind of looking around, walking up the sidewalk, and of course, me being me, I said, oh, we gotta have fun with this. So the three of us got in line right in front of the window overlooking the sidewalk. Then on the count of three, we had Chris in the middle, 1, 2, 3, Bill and I each put a hand between the drape, pull the lace back and look down on them. And then
They were looking up.
and let the lace go back, and they all got around, went back to their car, and left.
Fast as high heels would take. I do hope that you will come and see us at Christmas now. Come and see the lovely decorations we have up there, the tree, etc., and see the play as well. It's pretty good. I haven't done this show since 1989. I'll never do it again.
But you should talk about it for a second. The play that he's got this year is called The Colonial Christmas, and it is not one of the well-known things like The Gift of the Magi or the
No, it's the
Nutcracker.
original production of my own.
It's an original, just made for the house. It talks about colonial America. The family is worrying about the Revolutionary War. No well-known characters, no well-known lines. It's just
you ought to
a
not come and
homespun.
see it, you know?
It's a homespun Christmas play that just gives you a little bit of a different perspective on American history.
Where do you see next year's, though? Next year's, A Wizard of Oz Christmas. Yes, as soon as I get to writing it. Year after that, perhaps Babes in Toyland.
Are you ever gonna try to have them choirs from the different churches coming?
They won't come.
Yeah,
We cannot get any choirs to come out and sing anymore.
and very few.
Well, the guides will have to.
We cannot get them. They either got too busy or they just don't want to do it.
I think that's
I
terrible.
can't believe that.
Well, and I say, you good folks, get up, rise up with torches and go and attack them and find out why it is that we cannot get them to sing.
John is pointing out that his choir is going. We could get the choir to come up and sing that we had here at church Saturday night. It was a gospel choir
I had
from.
my actors sing too. I called them the heavily medicated choir. You know?
It was a very good presentation, but it was a gospel choir from Milwaukee, and when they did their first number, they were very filled with energy, and as they were stomping and singing up by the altar, the whole right side was shaking all the way up to the ceiling, and I thought, oh.
Given that we've just had
Here
a
it
new roof
comes.
put on the Octagon House, I don't know as we'll have that happen. You know? As it is, we need to think about what we're going to do about a porch in the coming years and a few other things, but thus far, we've been very blessed, especially this year. We were very blessed with money and good fortune as far as the Historical Society was concerned.
What about the lady that always played the harp?
Well, she'll probably be back on
I
on.
hope so. Yeah, she's so good. Yeah.
She'll be there.
She can't
But
be
you
there.
know that my favorite memory of Christmas at the Octagon House was one of the first times we did it back in '83 or '84. And in those days, you actually had snow on the ground occasionally when you do a Christmas play. And I can remember a gray day but snow on the ground, typical feeling of Christmas. And as you got out of the car, the Quams had put a loudspeaker out one of the upper windows, and they were playing Christmas music. I remember because Cy told me that he broke a window frame as he did that. But I thought, what a nice atmosphere that was as you're coming up to the house to hear that music playing.